up, what's up, what's up? Once again, it's your man Chazz Ellis giving you the information that you asked me for. Make sure you hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com so you can be a part of some of the discussions we're having. Also be a part of picking the next video. If you want to get a consultation or you want to go ahead and ask a quick question or just make a donation to the ChazzEllisProject.com, we'd appreciate you. You can do any of that, ChazzEllisProject.com. Anyway. This video came from the fact that I was watching, I like to look on people's Facebook statuses, and I like to look on Twitter and all that. And the thing I noticed is that a lot of times the advice women get is always about what men need to be doing. I'm like, how's that advice to you? It's basically a real man would do this, a real man would do that, a real man does this, a real man does that for his woman. And that's really what the advice usually consists of. Telling women, you know, what a guy is supposed to do. It never really tells them what they're supposed to do. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, man, you know, that's one of the best ways to get a woman into the worst trap imaginable. Because if you're in a relationship that's all about you, that means that you're with one of two different types of people. Either a person that doesn't have the self-esteem or value from the relationship to demand anything, or you're with someone who is a master player. Now, when you're with somebody that doesn't have the self-esteem or value to demand anything, basically what happens is you don't really care that much about them. They don't really care that much or believe in themselves too much. So even though they want things, they just make the whole relationship about you because they feel like if they ask for anything, you're going to say no or you're going to dump them and leave them. So that's kind of how that works. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. Then you have the master player. Now, some of y'all dudes are going to be writing this down like, what? Is that how they do it? So both people pay attention to this. Ladies, dudes, pay attention to this. A master player move is making a relationship all about a woman. I know some of y'all are like, no, that's what Sims do. Yeah, that's what Sims do, but it's also what master players do. Because there's one major difference. One major difference. The major difference is the simp is using this because he really, really cares about the girl and he's afraid to ask. This is the guy with no confidence. Master player doesn't really care that much. It's kind of like if you were bobbing for apples. They blindfold you, and this is the tub where the apples are. Whatever apple you bite into and get is the one you got, and you're cool with it. That's kind of how the master player feels about that girl. He's like, I want a girl with similar criteria, you know, to you. So you will do. And this is how I'm going to go about having this relationship the way I want it to be. When you take a relationship and you make it all about somebody else, the key is that you're basically putting a leash around that person's neck and turning them into a slave. You're like, what? How you turn them into a slave if you're making it all about them? I'm going to tell you how. Now, the way you turn that person into a slave is because when you make the relationship all about them, basically what you're doing is you're making it all about you. When it's all about their needs, their wishes, their wants, and not about you in any way, shape, or form, then it actually is all about you. Because you become in charge of the relationship. It works like this. We both got jobs. Girl, you ain't got to pay no rent. I'll pay the mortgage for this house. I'll take care of this place. I got it. I got all the bills. Girl, he is so good to me. He paying all the bills. Girl, I don't want you cooking. You don't need to be doing all that. I'll cook. I'll hire somebody to cook. Whatever the case may be. Girl, you don't need to be cleaning up. I'll take care of that. Girl, he treat me so good. He do everything for me. I don't got to cook. I don't got to clean. I work. I make some money. It's mine. I don't have to pay nothing. Okay? I'm winning. Now, you might be living like that. But here's what you don't realize. His value is increasing every single day. Every second that you guys deal with each other, his value increases because he's taking care of everything. Now, you have absolutely no value to the relationship. You're like, well, what does that matter? Okay, I'll tell you. Now, a little while down the road, he decides he wants to start sleeping with 3-4 women in the hot tub. What can you really do? You find out about it, can't really do much of anything because you don't matter. You don't have any value. And as soon as you try to leave and go be with somebody else, What you don't realize is you've been in a relationship where you've done nothing and contributed nothing. That's what you're used to now. You're used to somebody catering to you and doing every single thing for you. So when you try to get in another relationship and they ask things of you, it's going to be difficult. You're not going to be able to handle it. Most of the time, you're not going to be programmed to deal with that. He's going to be like, hey, girl, what's up with dinner? You got that hooked up? Dinner? Dang, my last man cooked my dinner for me. You're going to have, it's going to be difficult for you because what he's done is created a situation where he's in total control. So when you go deal with somebody else, you're not going to be able to make the transition. It's going to be very difficult because there's certain things you're going to be looking for somebody who's basically just like him, who's going to do everything for you, but the value level is going to be the same. You see this a lot of times with girls who date rich people. A lot of girls date these athletes and entertainers and stuff like that. You see a lot of this with people who date rich people. Because what these guys do is they create a system where they have a leash and they make every girl interchangeable. Right? They make every woman interchangeable. And basically all they do with those girls is they pass them on to other guys who are just like them. So it's like she can never find somebody who's going to be any different. Because everybody's going to take care of her, do everything for her, but give her no status. So whenever they want to go mess with some other girl, it's like, okay, fine. If you want to leave, deuces. I'm going to go get someone else just like you that passes down the line. So for you to be in a real relationship is almost impossible. Now, that's kind of how it is when you're dating somebody who's a master player, who's doing the game, who's running the game like that. You're just interchangeable. You're going to keep coming back. He knows that. Now, what about when you're dealing with somebody who really cares about you and doesn't have the confidence in himself to ask for anything? You're like, well, I got control in that situation, right? Well, you're going to be stuck in the same cycle of going right back to that person over and over again. You don't really want to be with that person, but anytime you break up with them, the problem you run into is you get a dude that asks you for a bunch of stuff, that expects things, because he feels like he has status. So you get somebody who's going to ask for things and going to expect things, and that's going to be hard for you to deal with. So now you're programmed to be with this dude you don't even really like. A lot of y'all are dealing with that right now, and you've been going back and forth, on and off, for the last 4 or 5 years with some dude you don't even like. You know, he is just as much, you are just as much addicted to him as he is to you, and you don't even like him. He's like, I really love this girl, man. That's why I just do everything for her. And that keeps him to you. But for you, you're like, I don't even really like him like that. But you just can't be with anybody else because you can't make the transition to being a part of a relationship where you have requirements. You just can't do it. So, and eventually, the sad part about it is most of the time he ends up dumping you. Because one day he finds somebody he's a little bit, that is about on the equal level to you, that likes him. And he's like, man, this girl does stuff for me. And then you kind of get left out in the cold. I've seen that happen so many times with women. Over my lifetime, I've seen it happen a ridiculous amount of times. It's ridiculous. Terrible. But it's kind of how it goes. So you have to be aware of people who don't expect anything from you, because that's a trap. That's a good way to be trapped in a relationship where you either have no value or you're with somebody that you have no value for, that you cannot get rid of. Hopefully I was able to help you out. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also go to the ChazzEllisProject.com. Be a part of the discussions we're having. Be a part of picking the next video. Peace.